Hey, welcome to Outsmart Your Guitar. Glad you could join us. Today in Soloing Concepts, we're in part 3 of twin harmony guitar parts or guitar solos, however you wish to refer to it. Here today, you're going to learn the twin harmony guitar part. This is where it gets cool because once you get this down and play it over the main melody, you're going to hear some really cool stuff. All right, so let's not waste any more time. And be sure to like and subscribe to Outsmart Your Guitar along the way. On screen, you see the first 3 measures of the twin harmony part. Now, we're at 17 on the second string. I'm going to go through this a little quick, so feel free to rewind to review and listen to the demonstration to get everything. It's all written out there for you as well. So we bend up 2 frets from 17 to the note at 19 for the first 2 beats. Back to 17, 14. We go to the first string at 17, 14, bend, full bend on the second string at 17 again, back to 17, 15, 17, 15. Now you're going to do a little shift back 1 fret to 14 with your first finger, and then go to third string at 16 and 14. And then we're going to be back to 14 on the second string, 16 on the third string, 14 on the second string, 16 on the third. Okay, that's a walkthrough. It's not about being in time, but then you want to put it in time, so you have to be sure to count it out. So here's the way you would count it. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Now you'll notice the third beat in the third measure is an 8th note rest, so it's 3 and 4 and. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay? So work on this, rewind if you must to review, and then get it down, smooth it out, and put it to a metronome. Here is measure 4, 5, and 6. Now, the 4th measure completes the first phrase, and again, I didn't mention it before, but we've been pretty much in the 5th position of the scale throughout thus far, just as in the main melody part. Okay, so we're at 15 on the second string with your second finger, 14, 16 on 3, back to 14 on 2, hold that note over through the third beat, just as with the main melody, and then back to 16 on 3, transition note into the second phrase of the melody, now here at 14 on the third string. Now, this is going to get a little bit unusual because, again, this is a harmony part, so vocal harmonies don't often follow tried and true rules in how they're put together. They're put together to sound complementary, not to follow strict guidelines. Okay, so we're at 14 on the third string, 2 notes there. And then we move over to the second string at 14 and 15, back to 14 on the third string, 14 on the second string, 15. Now your first finger over to 12 on the first string, and then the next measure begins with your 4th finger at 16 on the first string, back to 12, 15 with your 3rd finger on the second string, 14 with your 2nd finger. Now, here's where it gets a little wonky. Your first finger is going to go to 14 on the 3rd string and move back to 13 on the 3rd string. 3rd finger to 15 on the 2nd string. 2nd finger at 14. Now that's going to be a little weird feeling, and I understand it. I played through this. This is actually the best way to approach this, fingering wise. I've tried a few other things. It just felt a little more awkward any other way than this. The next thing you want to do is now play through counting it out. You're not necessarily trying to keep tempo. You're trying to understand the timing of every note now. So you go 1 and 2 and 3. Oops, sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's what you're striving for, is that kind of smooth flow, even at a slow tempo. Remember, quality of execution is what matters. And in that sixth measure, you've got a little bit of a wonky fingering, so you want to really make sure you train your fingers to do what's needed. All right, so then smooth it out, put it to a metronome, and get it to tempo the same as the first three measures. Just as with the main melody, we're going to be using the additive approach, if you haven't figured that out by now. So here's what you're going to be doing. Playing through all six measures now. You've learned the first three, and now you've learned the second three. Time to put them all together and smooth them out. All right, here's what you're going for. That's it. Now, I'm playing it pretty much at tempo, so you really want to be careful about how fast you play this. Don't play it faster than your facility allows. This isn't about speed, it's about the quality of execution, as I'm always reiterating here, because it really matters. All right, so take your time here, rewind and review the demonstration to hear how it's supposed to sound if you need to, and then pause and get these six measures down and put it all to a metronome. This is critical stuff. Make sure you use the metronome to get your timing right on the money. Just want to drop in here for a moment and remind you, down in the description, you'll see a link to patreon.com Outsmart Your Guitar. Click on the link, go on over, and become a free member. In so doing, you'll have access to a number of lessons and the material for them, the written material. Then you can join as a full-on patron at one of three levels. In so doing, you'll get expanded versions of lessons that are featured here and access to lessons that are not featured here, as well as all written material and any audio that also comes with those lessons. So click on the link, become a free member, then become a full-on patron. And thank you for visiting my channel either way. Well, let's get back to the lesson. Here are measures 7 and 8. Now, at the end of the sixth measure, remember we did 15 and 14 on the second string. So now in measure 7, we're going to repeat the wonky move with the first finger at 14 on the third string, then 13. And now we continue with your second finger at 14 on the fourth string, third finger at 14 on the second string, first finger at 12, third finger at 14 on the third string, first finger at 11, first finger at 9. A lot of first finger work there. Then we go to the fourth string at 11 with your third finger, back to 9 on the third string, 11, 9. Now, we go to 11 on the fourth string with your second finger so that we can get more confidently to 12 on the fifth string with your third finger. Come back to 11 on 4 and then 12 on 5. So here's what you're going for. Okay, so pause, make it happen, and get it smoothed out. Put it to a metronome at the same tempo as the previous 6 measures. You know what to do now. We put all 8 measures together. So here's what you're going for. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I want you to understand, this doesn't really sound very melodic in and of itself. And, well, that's because it's not the main melody. It is the accompanying harmony to the main melody. Just as if you listen to harmony parts exclusively in vocals, you'll hear a very similar thing going on. In and of itself, the harmony part doesn't sound like it's working, like it really should work. But you will see when you play this over the top of the main melody at the end of the day, this is going to sound really awesome. So stick with me here. Melodies are what they are. Harmonies are not the main melody. They're not supposed to be. They're not designed to be. They're designed, again, to complement, to lift up and support the main melody. Okay? So take your time here. Get these 8 bars together and make it happen with a metronome at a tempo where you feel most comfortable. The final 2 bars, 9 and 10. So we ended with the 3rd finger at 12 on the 5th string. So we're going to now stay on the 5th string, 2nd finger at 11. 3rd finger at 12, 1st finger at 9 on the 4th string, 11, 9 on the 3rd string, 9 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 3rd string. Now we have an invisible bend in the next measure. That means pre-bend, just like in the main melody. So you have to really have your bends under control here, right? Now, for that 9, that whole bit there, we did this previously as well in the main melody. Again, you can roll your finger so that you kill the 3rd string and then roll back and slightly bend the 1st joint to kill the 2nd string. And you get that. And then remember, that's in time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right? And that's what you're going for. All right, so pause, take your time here, smooth it out, count it out, get it to a metronome at tempo, and don't move forward until you've got this nice and smooth and flowing. Okay, here's where all the hard work pays off. You've learned the main melody. You've got the rhythm track into your looper. You've overdubbed the main melody onto the rhythm track into your looper, like this. And now you're going to play this harmony part along with the rhythm and the main melody you got recorded into your looper. So here's what you're going for. How cool was that? Seriously, this is what all the hard work comes to, and it pays off because you did the work, you got it down, and now you can play this twin harmony part, and it sounds amazing. Just as I mentioned earlier, it's not all by itself sounding particularly great, but now that you've paired it with the main melody, it all makes a lot of sense, and that harmony part now sounds very musical because it's melding together and supporting, and in a way being supported by the main melody as well. They support one another, and that's when you know you've got a great part written, when both parts sound amazing together because they're supporting one another together. So take 15, 20 minutes or more and learn this part, get it down, get it to where the notes are happening in sync with one another between the two parts. Then you'll see just how amazing this really is, playing twin harmony parts. All right? All right. How did you do? Did it sound good? You got the example and what I just did. Now you, spending the time, take it and really run with it and make sure that you get everything down correctly. In this series, which I had a ball putting together, I'm hoping that you are learning to understand that twin harmony guitar parts can be amazing. And they don't always have to sound like the Allman Brothers, right? Or Thin Lizzy or Wishbone Ash. You can forge your own path in doing these things, right? And that's the idea here. Take the time, put together a beautiful melody, and then slowly work to assemble a great harmony part so that it sounds amazing when the two guitars are playing together, right? That's the idea here. So for the extended version of this series, go on over to patreon.com, outsmart your guitar, and subscribe at the Backstage Pass or higher level, and you will get the full benefit of this series, which goes into great detail to help you understand even more about how harmony parts are put together and why it's important to really understand the nuts and bolts of how to assemble a really good twin harmony guitar part. All right. Thank you again for taking the time to learn what I have to offer. As I say and have always said, it means a lot to me to have you here learning these things from me. This is what I love doing, and that's why this channel exists, to help you learn, play, and grow to become the guitar player you desire to be, to play the music you love, even write your own music. All right? So until next time, you take care, and we'll see you soon.